Imagine this. You glide your electric car into a futuristic station nestled on a bustling European avenue. By the time you've wandered inside, ordered a steaming cappuccino, and taken your first sip, your vehicle is fully charged and ready to whisk you away. Gone are the days of staring impatiently at a charging screen, counting the seconds as your battery creeps towards full. No more anxiety about being trapped at a crowded charging point or wondering if the next service area will even have a working charger. The question on everyone's mind: is this the watershed moment when electric vehicles, or EVs, finally become truly unstoppable in Europe? Or is it just another dazzling tech promise that fizzles out under real-world pressure and practical challenges? For years, the most stubborn obstacle to widespread electric car adoption in Europe hasn't been the sticker price, nor even so-called range anxiety, the fear of running out of power far from help. Instead, the real pain point has been the ticking clock. Drivers dreading the idea of being stranded for what feels like an eternity at slow, unreliable charging stations. In a fast-paced world where every minute counts, the prospect of waiting even half an hour can seem like a deal-breaker. Imagine a delivery driver with a tight schedule, a parent rushing to pick up kids from school, or a rideshare driver whose income depends on keeping the wheels moving. Time is valuable, and current charging infrastructure too often wastes it. Now, an unexpected alliance has emerged to tackle this head-on. Fiat, the iconic Italian automaker steeped in more than a century of automotive history, has joined forces with Ample, an innovative Silicon Valley battery swapping company, and Free2Move, a leading European car-sharing platform. Their mission: to make charging an EV as quick, easy, and frictionless as pumping gasoline. The tool they're betting on is battery swapping, a concept as straightforward as it is radical. Instead of waiting while your car's battery slowly fills up, you simply pull into a station, swap your empty battery for a fully charged one, and drive away a few minutes later. Robots handle the heavy lifting, and you're back on the road in less time than it takes to scan the morning headlines. The first real-world test of this ambitious idea is already underway in Madrid, the vibrant heart of Spain. Today, a fleet of 40 Fiat 500 e-City cars zips through the city streets, each one equipped to take advantage of the new battery swap station. Here's how it works. The driver pulls up, rolls onto a specialized raised platform, and lets advanced robotic arms do the rest. The depleted battery is swiftly disconnected and ejected from the car's undercarriage, then a fresh, fully charged unit is slotted in, all in under 5 minutes. That's less time than it takes to fill a tank with petrol, let alone charge a traditional EV. But this is not just a flashy promotional stunt. Fiat has announced that by the summer, it will expand the program to 100 of these city cars, all running on the swap system in Madrid. It's a pilot project, yes, but the ambition is crystal clear. If it succeeds, the technology could be rolled out to private customers across Europe, potentially leapfrogging the continent's slow-developing traditional charging networks. Imagine a future where battery swapping stations dot every major city, eliminating the single biggest barrier to EV adoption. And Fiat is not alone in this race. Chinese electric vehicle giants like NIO and BYD have already constructed thousands of battery swap stations across their homeland and are now eyeing Europe as the next frontier. NIO's power swap stations in China can switch a battery in just about 2 minutes, and the company already operates more than 30 swap stations in various European countries, with plans to rapidly expand. The scale is staggering. In China, NIO boasts over 3,300 swap stations, with millions of swaps completed each year. As Khalid Hassouna, CEO of Ample, puts it, every minute spent off the road is lost revenue. For fleet operators and urban mobility providers, this is not just a slogan, it's the difference between profit and loss. But is this truly the inflection point for electric vehicles, or just the beginning of a whole new set of challenges? Behind the scenes, a fierce competition is brewing, not just to speed up charging, but to control the very infrastructure that will power Europe's cars for decades to come. Standardizing battery packs across different automakers, convincing manufacturers to agree on universal systems, and building a continent-spanning network of swap stations are all monumental challenges. The logistics of swapping, transporting, and maintaining thousands of heavy, high-voltage batteries are daunting. And as with any new technology, there are questions about cost, complexity, and consumer trust. Olivier Francois, CEO of Fiat, is bullish. It significantly reduces the fear of depleting your battery mid-trip and dramatically cuts recharge time, delivering a seamless and effortless experience for drivers. He sees battery swapping as the natural next step in Fiat's century-long quest to make mobility accessible, simple, and sustainable. Yet not everyone is convinced. Skeptics point out that building thousands of swap stations is a colossal investment, and the process of adapting vehicles to use modular batteries adds layers of engineering complexity. There's also the risk of consumer confusion. Will different brands' batteries be compatible? Will swapping void warranties or pose safety risks? Could drivers be left stranded if the system breaks down or fails to gain critical mass? To understand the stakes, let's take a closer look at the Madrid pilot and what it means for the future of European mobility. Ample's battery swap stations are a marvel of modern engineering. Each one can be deployed in as little as 3 days, according to Ample's CEO, and operates almost like a pit stop in Formula One. The Fiat 500e vehicles have been heavily modified to accept Ample's modular battery packs, which are designed to be easily disconnected and replaced by robots working from beneath the car. The process is controlled by a dedicated app, giving drivers a seamless, tech-driven experience. The Madrid pilot is just the beginning. By the summer, 100 Fiat 500e cars will be using the system, providing crucial data on reliability, speed, and user satisfaction. Free2Move, which manages car-sharing fleets across Europe, is watching closely. For urban car sharing, every minute a vehicle spends charging is a minute it's not earning money. Eliminating that downtime could be transformative, not just for car sharing, but for taxis, delivery fleets, and even emergency responders. As more cities adopt low-emission zones and ban older vehicles, the demand for convenient, reliable electric mobility is only going to grow. But let's not ignore the elephant in the room: standardization. Right now, only a limited number of Fiat 500e vehicles in Madrid can use Ample's modular batteries. For battery swapping to go mainstream, automakers will need to agree on shared formats, much like the standardized fuel nozzles that make filling up with gasoline so easy. This is a tall order in an industry defined by intense competition, proprietary technology, and carefully guarded intellectual property. Will Volkswagen, Renault, Peugeot, and Mercedes all agree on a universal battery pack? Or will each brand push its own system, fracturing the market and confusing consumers? Infrastructure costs are another hurdle. Building a robust network of battery swap stations requires massive investment, far more than traditional charging points, which are essentially high-powered plugs. Swap stations involve sophisticated robotics, advanced safety systems, and real-time data connections to monitor battery health and track inventory. Yet Ample insists that its rapid deployment model, 3 days to get a station up and running, could enable faster scaling than critics expect. If governments and private investors see the value, Europe could leapfrog past years of slow, piecemeal charger rollout. Industry reactions range from cautious optimism to outright skepticism. Some experts point to China as proof that battery swapping can work at scale. NIO's network of over 3,300 swap stations has facilitated millions of battery changes, and Chinese drivers have embraced the convenience. But Europe is a different market, with a patchwork of regulations, languages, and consumer habits. European automakers are watching Fiat's pilot closely, eager to see whether the model can be sustained outside of tightly controlled fleet trials. Adapting cars for swap compatibility is no small feat, and modular batteries add complexity to vehicle design and manufacturing. Will the benefits outweigh the costs? Still, if the hurdles of standardization and cost can be overcome, the payoff could be enormous. Imagine fleets of taxis, delivery vans, and ride-hailing cars that never need to wait for a charge. Picture logistics companies running electric trucks 24/7, swapping batteries as quickly as they swap drivers. Even private owners could benefit from fresher batteries, reduced range anxiety, and the ability to upgrade to newer, higher-capacity packs as technology improves. For cities, the impact could be transformative: quieter streets, cleaner air, fewer emissions, and more reliable electric transportation. Let's talk about what could happen next. If this 5-minute swap approach works in Madrid, we might see a wave of new battery swap stations sprouting up across European capitals, from Paris to Berlin, from Amsterdam to Milan. Urban planners could integrate battery swapping into public transport hubs, shopping centers, and highways. The ability to swap batteries quickly could become a selling point for car manufacturers, forcing rivals to adopt compatible systems or risk being left behind. Charging infrastructure could evolve in unexpected ways, with a mix of fast chargers, swap stations, and home charging all coexisting. However, There are risks. The biggest challenge remains standardization. Right now, only specially adapted Fiat 500e vehicles in Madrid can use Ample's modular batteries. For this model to go mainstream, car makers will need to collaborate on shared battery formats. That's a major hurdle in an industry where each brand guards its technology fiercely. Without agreement, the market could fragment, leaving consumers with incompatible vehicles and stranded investment. Then there's the question of battery health and longevity. Swapping batteries means drivers may not always get the same pack back. How will warranty and maintenance issues be handled? Will drivers worry about receiving an older or degraded battery? Ample and others argue that central management and regular maintenance will actually improve battery health, with data analytics monitoring each pack's condition. But consumer trust will need to be earned over time. And what about security and data privacy? Swapping stations will collect huge amounts of data on vehicle usage, battery performance, and driver habits. Regulators will need to ensure that personal information is protected and that battery swaps don't become a backdoor for surveillance or commercial exploitation. Let's widen the lens for a moment. Battery swapping isn't a new idea. In the early 2000s, Israeli startup Better Place tried and failed to build a global battery swap network. The technology was ahead of its time, and the market wasn't ready. But now, with EV adoption surging and governments pushing for cleaner transport, the conditions are very different. China's massive success with NIO and BYD shows that large-scale battery swapping is possible. In fact, CATL, the world's largest battery maker, is building an entire battery swapping ecosystem in partnership with Sinopec, one of China's energy giants. European governments are also taking notice. Policymakers in Brussels, Paris, and Berlin are watching the Madrid pilot as a test case for future regulation and investment. Supporting innovative charging solutions now could accelerate EV growth and help achieve climate goals. Battery swapping also has potential to decentralize power grids, making Europe less dependent on volatile global energy markets and supply chains. Imagine a future where cities manage their own network of swappable batteries, integrating renewable energy sources and balancing supply and demand in real time. So, what does this mean for you, the potential EV driver or curious observer? If you're considering an electric car, this pilot offers a glimpse into a possible future, one where charging is no longer a time-consuming chore. For now, battery swapping is mostly for fleet operators and early adopters, but the lessons from Madrid could reshape how cars are designed, sold, and powered for everyone in the coming years. Automakers are already in quiet talks with battery tech firms about standardizing swappable batteries. If these negotiations bear fruit, we could see a continent-wide network within the next 5 to 10 years. Practical advice. If you're in the market for an EV, keep an eye on whether your preferred brand is exploring battery swapping. Read up on warranties and service agreements, and consider the long-term convenience of different charging options. For businesses running vehicle fleets, the math is even clearer. Every minute saved on charging is money back in your pocket. Let's not forget the broader implications. Battery swapping could open up new business models, such as battery leasing or subscription services, where drivers pay a monthly fee for unlimited swaps or guaranteed access to the latest battery technology. This could help reduce the upfront cost of EVs and accelerate adoption among budget-conscious consumers. For rural areas or developing markets with unreliable power grids, centralized swap stations could be a game changer, enabling electric mobility even where home charging is impractical. Of course, the story is still unfolding. Some critics warn that the hype around battery swapping could overshadow the need to improve traditional charging infrastructure or distract from investments in next-generation battery technologies, such as solid-state or ultra-fast charging. Others worry about the environmental impact of manufacturing and recycling thousands of modular batteries. Yet, as with any technological revolution, early pilots like Fiat's in Madrid are essential for gathering data, testing hypotheses, and refining the model. In the end, will Fiat's 5-minute battery swap revolutionize European mobility or hit a wall? The answer remains to be seen, but one thing is certain. The race to make electric driving as convenient, reliable, and affordable as filling up with gasoline is on, and the stakes have never been higher. Europe stands at a crossroads. The choices made by automakers, policymakers, and consumers today will shape the future of mobility for generations to come. Here's an inside scoop. According to industry insiders, several major European car makers are already in quiet negotiations with battery technology firms about standardizing swappable batteries. If these talks succeed, Europe could see a continent-wide network of battery swap stations within 5 to 10 years, fundamentally changing how we think about car ownership and energy. So, what do you think? Would you trust a robot to handle your car's battery? Would you pay a monthly fee for unlimited swaps, or prefer to own your battery outright? Are you excited by the prospect of never waiting at a charger again, or do you see hidden risks? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more behind-the-scenes stories about the future of cars, technology, and the global economy. Who knows? The next time you buy a car, you might not just be choosing a color or a trim level, but a whole new way to power your journey. Thanks.